All eyes on base. Tune in. Press play. All is alpha on the way. Don't blink. Just stay. Oh, yeah. Got my coffee and my tabs up. Charts on the screen trying to level up. Bass junkie breaking down that ep.38. Crypto now we're turning threads into seminar. What's a pool, what's a yield, what's a peg mean? They turn the jargon into real life scenes. From airdrop dreams to blue chip streams, they map it all out, now we all on the team. From what is gas to check my stats. From I don't get it to run that bag. All eyes on base. Stay locked in. Learning DeFi while the beat stay bumping. Oh yeah. From the first little back to a major move. Bass junkie, now we got something to prove. Get your notes right. Turn that late night scroll to a smart life guide. We just press play, let the questions fly. They explain that yield while the numbers climb high. Click connect, now I see the pool flow. Two-side deposit, watch the tokens grow. LP tokens in my wallet, feeling brand new. Fees dripping in while I'm chilling with the crew. Talking risk and permanent. What that do? They slow it down till the smoke shine through. From rug red flags to the gems in the rough, they keep it real clear so the fans stay up.
Yo, and welcome back to another week of Our Eyes on Base DeFi. This is actually episode number 38, hosted by your boy Base Junkie and my main man, Mr. Crypto Noah. Guys, if you've enjoyed this series, if you got some value from it, where we talk about different DeFi yields, how we can make money on the red days, the green days, when the markets go up or down, or just stay sideways, as long as the volume's happening, if you are providing liquidity, you can be earning yield. Obviously, nothing we say on this show is investment advice, NFA, all that good stuff. Do your own research. This is just two guys in the trenches who are looking at opportunities, looking where we can put our money to work so that we don't have to. Now, without any further ado, let's pass it. Oh, and guys, make sure you smash that retweet button, all that good stuff. Let your friends, let your neighbors, let your family know where you are tonight. Smash that purple pill, that retweet button, let your friends know what's going on. And of course, if you have any comments or any questions, by all means, we are an open book. Now, without any further ado, let's pass it over to my wonderful co-host, as always, Mr. Crypto Noah. How are you today, my friend?
Man, 33 years old. August has been smooth.
Happy birthday, by the way. The reason why we missed last week was because you were celebrating your birthday. How does it feel, another journey around the sun? And how did you celebrate?
So me and my buddies, we went to Yosemite National Park, which was amazing, beautiful. I didn't have service the whole time. We were there for a long time. It was nice being off the grid for a while. I got my summer tan going. I don't know if y'all see it. I would say the color I am is hazelnut, the color of the mountain right before it hits the snow. But no, it was good.
Tell me, is that on your Tinder bio?
You gotta swipe to find out. But no, it was good, man. Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a few weeks since we did this show. A lot has happened. I got some good stuff prepared that actually just launched on Monday. So yeah, man. How you doing? How's your August been, bro?
Dude, it's been kind of fantastic, actually. Yeah, so my kids went to Slovakia, spent some time with the grandparents. They were away for about 3 weeks. Missed the hell out of them, actually. You know, you don't realize. I mean, like, honestly, sometimes it was really nice to spend some time with my wife again without the kids. You know, I think having that time together before she's giving birth to our next son was really special. Just to spend some time together and not worry about taking care of little ones. They had a great time. They're back now. That the in-laws are in. So an Eastern European mother-in-law who doesn't really speak English. It's definitely got its pros and cons. Like, the cons is like well, the cons is like we don't really understand each other, but like the pros is we don't really understand each other. So
Hey, wash those dishes. I don't know.
yeah, like apparently she's my harshest critic, but I just smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. And she's a fan. She's a fan of me. She likes that I love her daughter and love her grandkids, and so I'm in her good books eternally. And she makes so much good food, but like too much good food. It's just like, hey, lady, I'm trying to I'm trying to drop a few pounds for all these baby pictures, and you're like fattening me up like a Christmas turkey. So it is not going to plan that side of things. But they show love with the food, and then of course, dude, you haven't seen any of this stuff. If we haven't it's been a couple of weeks since we like chopped it up, but man, your boy's turned builder mode, medium mode to trader mode, dude. Last week I did a fatal trade challenge with Carlos, who's the former base regional lead for Central America, Honduras, and all the countries in Central America. He called me out in the DMs. He's like, "Hey, this would be great. Like crypto unks trading on the timeline. Let's do it." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it. Why not? $690, dude." In the 7 days, I turned that 690 into 6,000. And I was like, I'm not a trader. I usually suck at trading, but just it was a great week. Just I had the Midas touch it was my turn to dance with Midas, and things were going well. It went up another 50% today, which was another just like great thing, and it was all documented on the timeline. I gave it the calls before, like when I placed them. They went down, they went mega up, and anybody who was supporting, anybody who saw them, did well out of it. So it's been a nice community win for everybody who's been participating and playing along. But yeah, and then it's been nice that I've been able to rotate some of those profits into Tibber.
I was gonna say, I was watching it go up. I'm like, man, I know my big mate's over there kicking himself.
Oh, bro, honest. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I sold my Tibber bag for a pre-sale for a token that's due to come out soon. We won't talk about it now, but it should be coming out soon. And if you see a new PFP, then it's gone well. But I did sell my Tibber position to fund that with with gusto, and then just seeing Tibber like go under 10 cents. I was looking at kidney prices, like what's the rate. Like I wanna get back into Tibber. I need to have exposure, especially at those lows. And so I was able to like DC a little bit under 10 cents, and then buying a bit more at 12, then just shot up to 15. And I'm like, oh geez, this is getting expensive. At 17, 19, I'm like, oh man. And then like one of my plays hit big. I'm like, great, let me just rotate some profits. And then now it's 25 cents. Like Tibber is catching a bid. And I want to get your insights on that, because you and I, we're both green pilled, we're both frog pilled. We have drunken that Kool-Aid, follow the breadcrumbs, because I think that it really is a retirement play right there.
Yeah, there was this fund, Amber Capital or something like that, and they're really like putting a lot of money into AI, and they've been buying a lot of Tibber. It's all on chain. They've been blowing up on Twitter as well. Altcoinist, and everyone's tweeting about it. And then also, the cool thing was right before I went to Yosemite, it mooned. I'm like, oh yeah, let me take some profits, because it's just like, clarity is going to be at least a couple more months. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we went back down to 10. It looks like it's hitting a resistance. We'll see if
you're saying like if we're back down to 10 cents on Tibber.
It's possible. Like I don't think we're just like to the moon right now, because we don't have like any bullish clarity news. And that's when I think Mickey Malka will announce his involvement and what Tibber is actually doing. He's always been regulation savvy. He helped Coinbase navigate their regulation, whatever you want to call it.
Journey.
So because of that, I think that it's probably going to go back down before the Clarity Act gets announced. And even once the Clarity Act gets announced, the SEC is going to have to rewrite the rules. So I think we have a little while. I don't think we're super off to the races now, but it is nice for it to give us a little profits. And now, my first official take profit is 42 cents. It hit like 43. So that was perfect. But now I'm of the idea of like, hey, once it gives me like a good multiple, I'm just going to keep taking some off. When it goes back down, buy more back in. And once it gets to my official levels, then I'm going to take more off. But there's been so many times when it went up and down and I could have took some off. So now I'm just like taking, I'm stopping on the side of the road to 100x to smell the journeys, because sometimes, something more important than what you're hunting for can be waiting on the side of the road. That's from a Hunter x Hunter anime. But anyway, it's true. So yeah, that's my opinion. Oh, also, I forgot. Guys, I got to show off the merch.
Of course, man.
Swap. It's a Stella swap. I got this at ETH Denver, I think like 2 years ago. And I wore this shirt because, the swapping that we're able to do on DeFi has been quite stellar. And I want to kind of get into that and kind of talk about what I prepared for you guys. Did you have any thoughts on anything else before we did, man?
I mean, like thoughts on lots of things. So we haven't spoken in a couple of weeks. Lots has happened, but just before you share like some of your research, I was wondering, like, you mentioned Tibber could go down. We're at 25, hitting resistance. Do you have any charts or anything that you would like will be able to dive a little bit deeper into your rationale on that?
Yes, perhaps.
I do love looking at a chart, especially one drawn by somebody else, because I do my TA and sometimes it's just Bullonomics, and it's just like, okay, yep, that's a nice cup and handle, and now we're going to squiggly line to the moon.
Exactly. So are you seeing my screen here?
Let me just put up right now. Boom, there we are.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the market likes to move between ceilings and floors, and I actually haven't even whoa, what just happened? Hold on, I think let me restart. The market likes to move between ceilings and floors. Oh no. I don't know what I just did. Oh, I went to the 1 minute. That's what.
What the 1 minute time frame?
I'm like, what the hell did I just do here? All right, so I'm actually go to the weekly. All right, so guys, as you can see, the past 3 weeks have been quite bullish, and we haven't had 3 straight weeks of bullishness since December. And this one was this candle. It pretty much the market opened where it closed. Like when you're looking at a candle, and it's like this, like the wicks represent where the price went, and the body represent where it opened and where it closed. So when you have a green candle, that means the market opened higher than it closed. So here, the market opened here this week, it closed here this week. For this one, it opened here and it closed here, and it went as low as this, and it went as high as this wick. So last time we had three straight weeks of bullishness was back here in December. Right now, before that, it was last May. So we haven't had this type of price movement in a long time, since it pretty much went to its all-time highs. Like you see how big these candles are. So now if we look at support and resistance, this $23 level has been a pretty strong support, resistance rather. And if we go to the daily chart, you see how many touches we have on this $22 level. So now it looks like the market's trying to get above it and turn it into support. Only time will tell. It looks like it's been rolling over for the past 2 days, but we are on a green day and we're pretty much back near the recent all-time highs. But in regards to my thesis as to it going down, the next major level is 16 cents. I don't think it's just gonna shoot all the way up. Like even when we were going up to these all-time highs back in here, we saw this huge up and then we saw a huge move down. It's like Elliott waves. We saw a huge up movement, and we saw a huge move down all the way back to 14 cents. And then we saw a huge upward movement from pretty much 15 cents all the way up to 43 cents. And then, we started to, we broke down a bit and moved up. So it's just like, it's shown that it's always been some large corrections on the way up. So
Mhm.
even if we are on the way up, I still would think we would go back down to at least between 13 to 16 cents. And just given the fact that there's, like I said, there's no like extremely bullish news on clarity, I don't think that there's going to be an announcement that happens until that is done. But only time will tell. And with what we're about to talk about today, there could be some kind of integration with that as well. So no matter what, we are getting closer. So I can say that.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good analysis, and yeah, like even like Bitcoin, no coins just go straight up, and the ones that do, unfortunately, often come straight back down.
Yeah.
It's there needs to be those that layering, that brick by brick support, resistance, retesting, to give it the strength to catapult to the next level up, and that's true for all charts. So I think a correction would be healthy. It would be. I'm glad we had this conversation. I need to think more about how I've been DCAing into Tibber, because I've bought a bunch of Tibber above 20 cents because I've just been making gains recently in the last 7 days, and that's just where the price of Tibber is. Because for me, yeah, on the short term, obviously I want to maximize the bag, maximize the purchasing power of it. But you are talking a lot of sense that maybe Tibber is due for a bit of a correction, a bit of a step back down, one step down to jump two steps forward, two steps up. So yeah, maybe I'll stable up a little bit of my Tibber position for the next leg up. But the entire crypto market's been absolutely pumping recently. I mean, we've seen like finally Ethereum's above 2K, hitting like 2.5K. Bitcoin's pushing like got closer to 80. I think last time we had a show, I think
60.
Bitcoin had a 6 in front of it. Yeah, it was like low 60s for sure. I do want to talk a little bit on that as well. I'm not sure, is that connected to what your topic is?
No, but we can still talk about it. I think that August normally finishes in the red. So, that's another thing I have in mind. Like, are they just pumping it so they can get a little money for a summer party, end of the summer party? Who knows? But I'm just taking more profits, man. The longer I invest, the more profits I take, because you just constantly see how the market goes up and you think it's going to go here, but it goes up and drops down. It goes up and drops down. So it's just like when the market pays you some money, take it off the table. You can never take too many profits, and it's good to have a portion of your bag to swing for the fences. But like the more you take profits, the more you can put into that long-term bag, and the more you'll have, and you get to make more money along the way. So it's like the only downside is that, maybe the thing will 100x and you took off more than you would like, but that's very
Rare.
unlikely, and it usually never happens in the time frame that you want. So that's why when Tibber went up right before I went to Yosemite, I didn't even bring my computer with me, because I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to log off. I didn't have service for 3 days. It was nice. If it goes up more, hey, I'll come back. At least I got some profits. And I came back and it was pretty much exactly where I left it. And I was like, oh, thank God. So, yeah, my motto is just take more profits, have your take profit schedule. But, if the market goes up, maybe take some before that. That's my idea.
Yeah, I think it's always important to take some profits. I mean, today I took some profits, but I did rotate my profits into other conviction holds. I put a little bit of it into USDC. I always feel like USDC is not working for me, so I'm like, I am bad at following my own advice there. My USDC position is always less of a percentage than I would in theory like it to be, because I'm always like putting it into plays, putting it in. I'm trying to make it work for me, but I feel like when I convert it into euros, like actually like dirty fiat, then it's money off the table. I'm not going to put that back into crypto. There's money off the table. My wife can see that, and that's for us to enjoy some dinners or buy something nice.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you know, we got lives to live. So it's just like failure to plan is a plan to fail. So plan to have a long-term bag, have some for you and your loved one or loved ones, kids, whatever the case is. And, you know, whatever works for you. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. So yeah, that's what I'll say to that.
That's it, man. But tell us, what is it that you've been researching this week?
And I'm gonna share my screen for the first part of it just so everyone can see it, because this is huge. And this is kind of off of the back of what we talked about with the B20 upgrade. Coinbase just debuted it that they launched tokenized stocks on Base Network, right? Joining the race to bring equities on chain. You see Robinhood did it. And now, like for Coinbase, it's not available in America yet, but they did announce and say that these will be available in DeFi. So, you know, I think that they have something in the works that they're maybe just not telling us. So, it's not all stocks yet, right? So right now they have Apple, Nvidia, Meta, and Google, right? And we're not just talking about getting price exposure to these companies. We're talking about tokenized shares that can live inside your crypto wallet, trade 24/7, and potentially be supplied as liquidity, borrowed against, lent out for yield, and plugged directly into DeFi, which is their goal. All right. And Coinbase chose Base, obviously, as the blockchain where all this is happening. So today we're going to explain exactly what they launched, how these tokenized stocks work, and most importantly for the show, what it can mean for DeFi on Base. All right. So again, we already went over the first four, and they did say that more stocks are coming. Apple, Nvidia, well, Apple C for Coinbase, Nvidia C, Meta C, and Google C. So here's the important distinction. They're not simply perpetual contracts tracking the price of a stock. Coinbase says each token is backed one-to-one by an actual underlying share. So simplified, one tokenized share equals one real share backing it. And I hope they don't fuck this up and do like some fractional reserve stock stuff like they do with like banking, because that could really be bad. So the shares are held through a regulated custody in a bankruptcy.
Sorry, just for the viewers, can you explain why that would be bad?
Yeah. So when you put your money in a bank, right, you put $1 in the bank, they're allowed to lend out. I forget the most recent one, but sometimes they're able to lend out normally like 10. They only have to keep around 10% in reserves, give or take. So that means you put $1 in, and then they lend out 80 to 90 cents of it. So if they're doing that and everyone in the world tries to pull their money out, they wouldn't be able to, because they have
hang on. It's the other way. Like if you put $1 in, they can lend out. No,
80 to 90 cents.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking like $10.
10 to 20% is required to keep them.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry if it's
no, it's okay. So if they do that with a stock, that can be really bad, because what if like Meta goes up and everyone wants to sell and they're doing some fractional reserve stock stuff? That could just be not good, because then people won't be able to get their stocks, and then people already don't trust the banking system. You don't want people not trusting being able to hold stocks. That could be really bad, because that's essentially the American economy, especially the tech stocks that they're in right now. These are the largest companies in the world by market cap right now. So right now they're saying that the shares are held through regulated custody in a bankruptcy remote structure, whatever that means. So that they say that makes it fundamentally different from betting whether Nvidia or Apple goes up or down. You're dealing with a token representing a beneficial claim on an actual underlying security. So now, where are the actual stocks? And this is the question everyone should be asking. So if I have Nvidia C in my wallet, where is the actual Nvidia stock? So Coinbase's structure uses regulated custody. They have institutional authorized participants that acquire the actual share, and then those shares are placed into a regulated custody with the structure designed to keep the underlying assets separate from Coinbase. Coinbase then issues the corresponding tokenized stock on Base Network. So think, this is a workflow. You have the traditional stock market, and you have an authorized participant that buys NVIDIA. Real NVIDIA shares intercustody, and then Coinbase issues corresponding NVIDIA C, right? NVIDIA C enters the base ecosystem. That means the blockchain token and the traditional security are connected to the issuance and the redemption mechanism. Now, we talked about the B20 token standard a few weeks ago. And this is like a building block. This is an interesting part. These stocks aren't normal ERC20 tokens, right? Coinbase introduced the B20 standard, which we covered in depth a few weeks ago. Go watch that episode if you don't recall. And B20 extends ERC20 specifically for tokenized real-world assets. Now, why does that matter? Put simply, because stocks have things crypto tokens don't normally have: dividends, stock splits, and corporate actions. So Coinbase needs a way for those events to happen without breaking every DeFi application holding an asset. And their solution is something called an on-chain multiplier. So instead of constantly changing your raw token balance when something like a dividend or split happens, the multiplier adjusts the share equivalent value, right? That's important because imagine Apple executes a stock split while Apple C is sitting inside a lending position or a liquidity pool. You don't want the entire DeFi position breaking, and B20 is designed to account for just that. Now, here's where things get really interesting, right? You have 24/7 stock markets. Traditional stocks don't trade continuously. Crypto does. So these tokenized stocks live on base, so they can potentially trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, right? So think about how weird the TradFi system suddenly looks. Apple reports earnings after hours. Something happens on Saturday that dramatically affects NVIDIA. Traditional markets might be closed, but the tokenized asset can continue trading on chain. That's a major structural difference. So we might be entering a world where people are looking at the tokenized stock price over the regular price if something happens after hours over the weekend to see if they should buy or sell or not versus, waiting, right? And to be honest, it might lean towards institutions using tokenized stocks more, because if they're like, oh, Apple's going to shit the bed, we don't want to wait until the upcoming week to sell. We know these other funds are selling using the tokenized stock, so we know the price is going to be lower. Let me hold the tokenized stock instead so I can act faster. Very competitive institutions are. So I can definitely see that happen after we, have experienced the Lindy effect and know everything's good. So now, what happens when the NASDAQ is closed? This is an important question to discuss. The token can trade 24/7, but the underlying stock doesn't, right? So that means liquidity and price discovery become especially important outside traditional market hours, right? Coinbase is using Oracle infrastructure to bring stock pricing on chain, and Base has announced Chainlink support for tokenized stock pricing. But during weekends and overnight periods, the on-chain market itself can begin expressing expectations about where the underlying stock will trade when the traditional markets reopen, like I said. So that creates opportunities, but also risk, right? Liquidity may be thinner, spreads could widen, the token can temporarily deviate from the underlying stock. So 24/7 trading doesn't automatically mean 24/7 deep liquidity. That's an important distinction. And that's why I said we need to benefit from the Lindy effect, because institutions aren't just going to hop in. They need to see things aren't going to be hacked. They need to see things working first. But after it's working, I would imagine that tokenized stocks are going to be being traded over regular stocks just because of the accessibility in them being liquid 24/7. So next section is, I want to talk about Aerodrome. All right, Aerodrome plus tokenized stocks. And this is relevant to yield farmers. So Aerodrome is supporting liquidity for Coinbase tokenized stocks. And just kind of think about what that potentially creates. So instead of LPing like ETH USDC, you could eventually have markets around Apple USDC, NVIDIA USDC, or potentially, for the first time ever, stock-to-stock pairs. Guys, when you go and trade, when you go buy Apple or Google or Microsoft shares, it's always Microsoft USD or Microsoft Euro or Apple USD. It's never Apple Google or NVIDIA Meta, right? Now in DeFi, we're probably going to be able to have stock to stock pairs. So now you're going to be able to get into volatile liquidity pools in LP for like Tesla and Google. Like you can already do this on Solana, but obviously Base on Radium, but obviously doing it on Base with the regulation, it's going to be way more legit. Now, that's pretty fascinating to me because now the same concentrated liquidity strategy we've been discussing on the show could be potentially applied to stocks, right? Collect swap fees, potentially receive additional incentives, and manage your ranges just like other concentrated liquidity positions. And this begins merging traditional market making with DeFi yield farming, right? So next, I want to talk about lending because it's even bigger. Imagine taking your NVIDIA stock and borrowing against it, right? This is what institutions do, but people can't do that in TradFi, right? Now you're going to be able to. Base says tokenized stocks are being integrated with lending infrastructure, including Aave and Morpho and Euler. They already have the big partnership with Morpho, so does Robinhood. So eventually you can have something like own 10,000 NVIDIA, deposit that NVIDIA C as collateral, borrow USDC, deploy the USDC somewhere else, and continue maintaining your economic exposure to NVIDIA. That's something wealthy investors have been doing for years, and it's called securities-backed lending, right? And now DeFi is going to potentially make that system programmable and accessible through smart contracts. Now, here's another thing. We could see stock lending become a new yield category, right? Traditional institutions lend securities to hedge funds, short sellers, and market makers, and they receive a yield for doing that. Coinbase specifically sees securities lending as one of the opportunities tokenized equities can bring on chain, right? Imagine eventually opening Base and seeing ETH lending APY, USDC lending APY, NVIDIA lending APY, Apple lending APY. So now DeFi isn't simply competing with crypto exchanges, it's competing with traditional prime brokerages, guys. This is huge, right? This is going to offer some very interesting LP opportunities. So here's something I've been thinking about. Stocks have different volatility profiles from crypto, and that potentially creates completely different liquidity pool strategies, right? So, we talked about Apple USDC versus ETH USDC. Apple generally has lower volatility than ETH, potentially less violent price movement, wider ability to maintain ranges, different fee characteristics, different impermanent loss characteristics. Now, imagine like the stock-to-stock pools like Apple, NVIDIA, and Meta, Google. With the amount of volume, pair it with how much less volatile they are, you could be looking at situations where you can get into some tight ranges and make some pretty insane yields off of some stocks that don't move too crazy because they're already huge, right? Lastly, here comes the vaults. Once these assets have enough liquidity, someone is inevitably going to build automated strategies around them. Base already lists infrastructure, including Beefy, Superform, and other DeFi applications around the tokenized stock ecosystem. So instead of manually managing NVIDIA USDC, you could potentially deposit into a vault. The vault manages your liquidity, rebalances ranges, collects fees, compounds returns, and suddenly traditional stock investors have access to strategies that previously looked more like professional market making strategies. Now we got to throw AI on top of it. This is where things get even crazier. Base is also positioning tokenized stocks for the agent economy, the AI agent economy, right? AI agents can already interact with smart contracts. We already talked about, X402 and the Ethereum improvement proposals that allow them an escrow and give them a credit score. So now imagine that an agent can monitor your portfolio, trade stocks, rebalance crypto, move into stable coins, provide liquidity, borrow against equities, harvest yield, and do everything on the same blockchain. Before tokenization, an agent needed separate APIs for Coinbase, a brokerage, and a bank, DeFi, potentially multiple custodians. But once everything becomes a token, the agent can potentially interact with all of it through smart contracts, and that's a completely different financial architecture. Now, why can this be huge for Base TVL? It's pretty obvious. Crypto's big, but global equities are enormous. Base doesn't need to capture the entire stock market. Even if a tiny percentage of traditional equity value eventually moves on chain, we're talking about potentially massive amounts of new collateral entering DeFi. And more importantly, this isn't crypto capital moving from Ethereum to Base, it's potentially new capital entering the on-chain economy altogether. And that's the part we're watching. And I think that if we zoom out and look at Coinbase's bigger strategy, they're not simply building a crypto exchange anymore, haven't been for a while. If you look at the pieces, you got stable coins, crypto, stocks, derivatives, prediction markets, ETFs, tokenizations, wallets, their base network, DeFi. So they're calling their broader vision the everything exchange, and Base increasingly is looking like the settlement and application layer underneath that vision. And that's why this tokenized stock announcement matters so much. Coinbase isn't just putting Apple on a blockchain, they're potentially building an infrastructure where every asset can eventually become an on-chain asset. So now, for US users, before everyone watching runs to Base looking for NVIDIA C, there is a major limitation, right? And we kind of talked about this before we got into it. So these Coinbase's tokenized stocks are currently offered under Regulation S and not available to US people. They're intended for eligible users outside the United States. And obviously that's a significant, that's obviously significant for an American audience. So don't confuse tokenized stocks that are live on Base with every Coinbase customer in America can buy tokenized stocks on Base. It's not the same thing. The regulatory structure is being operated through Coinbase's tokenization hub in Abu Dhabi. All right. Now, the risk, because we always got to talk about the risk. First one is liquidity risk, right? Apple C doesn't automatically have NASDAQ level liquidity just because Apple itself does. Oracle risk. DeFi needs reliable information about the off-chain stock price. Custody and issuer risk, right? The token ultimately depends on the legal and custodial structure connecting it to the underlying share. Smart contract risk, right? Once you start lending, LPing, and stacking protocols, you're introducing normal DeFi smart contract risk. Regulatory risk, right? Tokenized equities are still securities. Different jurisdictions can have very different rules governing who can buy and use them, and we're still waiting on the Clarity Act. And then off-hours pricing risk. 24/7 trading means the token can trade when the underlying stock market is closed, potentially creating wider spreads and price dislocations. Now, yeah, so that's in closing. My biggest takeaway is that Coinbase, it's not that Coinbase launched 4 tokenized stocks. It's that Coinbase has started putting the traditional financial system directly inside DeFi. So today is Apple, NVIDIA, Meta, and Google. Tomorrow it can be hundreds of thousands of equities. And once stocks become tokens, they stop being assets that simply sit in a brokerage account. They become collateral. They become liquidity. They become yield-generating assets. They become programmable, right? Imagine getting paid in a stock that pays dividends. That's like double yielding, which is pretty cool. And I think if Coinbase succeeds in making Base the home for those assets, which seems like they're doing a pretty damn good job, they're not competing to become the biggest L2. They're competing to become one of the settlement layers for global financial system and the AI hub, and that's a much bigger game. So pretty big stuff. Pretty big stuff.
Honestly, the stocks on chain movement that we saw, I mean, Hyperliquid kicked it all off, and then Robinhood has been just off to the races with that. And I know there's been multiple collections that have been paying projects in stocks, like stockbrokers, for example. That just absolutely went. I mean, that went to what, 70, 80 million, and the NFTs were over 10 ETH market cap. I was in Stackers, which is a derivative play, but that's also been paying nicely. But more recently, in fact, I think just a couple of days ago, I got into a project called Stockify. It's like a STFY, and I think I've been holding that for a week now. And from my position, it's like the position's worth a bit over 1,000. I have over $100 in stock tokens. I have like $26 in Meta, Nvidia, like 26 in Nvidia, 26 in Apple, 26 in Google. Like, and it's kind of a dream really to just like hold one meme token and then get paid in stock tokens. And I think that's really what the meta is right now. And like we see base stonks, B stonks do that. Stockify. I mean, today the hottest thing on base is StonkX, the Stonks exchange. I actually called that 2 days ago, uh, and it's done a 700% pump today. So yeah, I'm all for the on-chain stocks movement. I think for non-Americans, this is fantastic news because, you know, especially if you're interested in stocks but don't know how to get into stocks and you don't want to do all the KYC stuff, it's just the easiest way to have some stock exposure. I think a lot of Americans are going to be using this as well. Even though they say not for Americans, it's like, well, it's crypto. Like, how can you actually check? How can you regulate that? But yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before the old guard gets put on chain. Wall Street closing at 5 p.m. on a Friday night. It doesn't make sense. Like there was incredible arbitrage opportunities. I remember some callers talking about oil prices over the weekend, during the this Straits of Hormuz issue. It's like, well, the markets aren't open yet, but the Straits of Hormuz are closed. It's an obvious like prices of oil prices are going to spike Monday morning, and we can buy on hyperliquid on the weekend. Now there's going to be more and more arbitrage opportunities for stocks, for all these things by buying on chain, buying on base, and just using tokenized stocks. So I think truly this is a shift. It's going to be an early shift where people can capitalize on these arbitrage opportunities. Of course, with most arbitrage opportunities, they get closed out as more and more people start using them. And then eventually it's going to get to the point where Wall Street's like, look, guys, we're analog here. The world's moved digital. Let's just do 24/7 trading. And that's going to be the new norm.
Yeah. I mean, eventually everything's going to come on chain because just like everything came onto the internet, everything's going to come on chain because it makes everything better. But it's going to take some time. And through that time, there's going to be opportunities such as these where the early people, because once they come on chain, you know, we're going to be competing with the market makers and the yields aren't going to be crazy, right? But in the meantime, for us DGen Chads who understand this stuff, hey man, you know, it's like I want regulation to get passed as quick as possible so my tipper bag can pump and everything. But at the same time, there's a benefit of a delay because it keeps a lot of capital on the sidelines that we would be competing with otherwise.
Yeah, honestly, I'd be happy if I'd be happy for it to just pump the brakes. If we need to wait till 2027,
we know.
yeah, like let's not get any clarity just yet.
Yeah, like just pump the brakes for a good month, and then we can just
a month, and then just full send everything. Then we can be well positioned for everything, and then it's sipping margaritas, yeah, Copacabana Beach, you know. But it's honestly, I'm just grateful that I've had a good week trading. I've been able to like really stack some Tibber, even at Tibber highs, like local highs. You know, I think maybe I will cream a little bit, just leave it in USDC, even though it's like USDC, I keep wanting to put it back into the casino. I think that's the DGen in me, but you know,
the market will correct before the Clarity Act passes, I think.
Yeah, tomorrow I have a show with Toro tomorrow as well, and he's my trading quant as well. So I think the saying "your network is your net worth" is so true, and I'm always looking to ask questions to my friends because yeah, I'm not so arrogant to think I have all the answers, but I know I have a strong network of well-read, well-informed people. So to like hear different perspectives and then find correlations in that, I feel like that's been one of my personal keys to success. Just stay humble, always be a student of the game, listen to others, and just always be growing.
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it. Should we look at some yields and put a bow on this one?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right, let's.
Because honestly, so hey, it's been a few weeks since we got into since we jumped into it, but I was doing the Tibber yield farming. After a while, I think I put in maybe I put in I put in 3K. I put in 3K, like one and a half ETH at the time, into Tibber ETH pool, and then Tibber just had his pump, and I went out of range on the positive side. I'm like, what the heck?
Dude, let me show you. So this is my truncheon strategy.
Mhm.
It just keeps being good to me. So first, let me go here, invert it. So these are my ranges, man. This yellow line is the range I've been in for over a year, right? And
Wow.
it's tops and the lows. Like, look, it nicked it right at the bottom here, nicked it right at the bottom, right at the bottom. You couldn't write this better, man. I did have a range from like here to here that it went out of, but now
Mhm.
I rearranged it. So I'm inside of these two green lines, and my bottom green line is below my top green line, or my yellow line, which is nice. So I'm in range on two of them. It's been consolidating really nice. The volume has been pretty high. And now like I just rebalance using CoinFlow. I just go on there and be like, hey, you see my ETH Tipper pool that's out of range? Can you just go and rebalance me 20% above and below current price? And all you do is sign, and then boom, you don't have to do the math. So using CoinFlow has been a great hack. It's like Chat GPT for DeFi. And we're going to be partnering with them to launch some know-it-all strategies on that you can deploy for yourself. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, no, this has been really good. And if we go over to our Yield Hunter tool, I mean, DeFi, I remember when we went on here last time, the highest one wasn't even quadruple digits. And now, things are looking really, really good. Right. And if we, Velvet, wow, met them at ETH Denver, that's doing good. Let's look on the base network since this is the base show. Toshi seems to be the top one.
Always, man.
Arrow and Coinbase. Arrow has been pumping really nice lately. And we're staking on Aerodrome. So if we look on, if we go to Aerodrome, and then we look at dashboard liquidity, and we search Tibber, look at that. Thing has been printing. Even the fee APR, 159%, that's something to write home about. But this one, way better. And it's cool because if we go and look at, what do we do? CoinGecko. If we look at Arrow, because when you stake, you get paid in Aerodrome tokens. It's been quite nice getting paid in Aerodrome tokens because they launched in a deck. So it's been pumping.
Yeah, that's definitely been moving. I mean, I've thought of Aero between like 40, 45 for the longest time.
Yeah. So that's been really nice because like, yeah, you make more money if you get paid a yield that's in 1,000% and the token's going up a little bit versus getting paid in Tibber and it's doing a 3x, because the yield multiple that you're getting on top compared to the capital gains is way more than a 3x, as you guys could see on there. So yeah, man, that's it. Another good show in the books. Finishing off August strong. This coming weekend is the last weekend of August, and then we're into September, entering Q4. Yeah, officially.
That's it, man. Q4. No, October, November, December. It'll be one more
Oh,
month
you're
of
right. You're
Q4.
right. You're right. Let me slow down there, Speed Racer. You're right.
Yeah.
Man, where is the time going, man? This year kind of flew on by.
And you're 33 already, man. Best year's behind you.
Nah, I just
Nah.
I haven't met my wife yet. I haven't bought my first home yet. I haven't had kids yet. My timber bags haven't pumped like I wanted to yet. So
Well,
I think the best years are still ahead of me for sure.
I agree, man. I agree. As someone who's ticked some of those boxes, they are the most fulfilling things to get to. So everything in good time. And you and me we're both waiting for our timber bags to pump. But yeah, man. Honestly, kudos to you for that tranching strategy. I've been inspired by it like week on end, and then finally I was like, I need to do my own tranche. In fact, I didn't do a tranche. I did the range was like 12K Tibber to like 23K Tibber, and we were bleeding down on the Tibber price, so it was going up close to that 20, 21K, 22K, and then it has been just like going down, but as the price of Tibber goes up, it's just been a party. It's been the frog is on. The party, everyone's feeling froggish, and I went just out of range, and I thought about it. I'm like, you know what, are we going to come back? Not anytime soon. Will we ever come back? I don't want to be sidelined. So I was just like, fuck it, let me just buy Tibber on the upper side of that range, and then just buy it as and when I can. So yeah, just buying back into Tibber. It feels good actually. It goes straight to my Trezor, so it's harder to trade. Yeah, honestly, I don't want to keep my Tibber on my hot wallet because it makes me have access to it. And when I see these tokens that like these flash in the pan projects where I'm like, this could be a pumper. This is I don't want to. That's my. I don't want to trade with that. That's my my nest egg.
Yeah, it's good to have proper wallet separation is very important. Maybe we'll make that the theme of a next episode. We should talk about that.
I think we should, especially when like the market is really pumping. Last question from me: do you think? I mean, the timeline is super bullish right now. Do you think we are off to the races? Are we back in a bull market, or do you think this could be a bull trap? Something like ahead of the midterms to try and get people excited again. Remind America that Trump is the crypto president. Hey, don't worry about the scams. Like, we're pumping crypto now, so you guys can get in as well. Bull trap or bull market?
I think bull trap. I don't think bull market just yet. Not yet. Not with we need like a major catalyst, and we don't have that yet. Like, the Clarity Act was really the next wave of buyers. This has to be institutions. That's where all the money is, and the only way they're going to pile in, like how we want them to, is if they have clear regulations. Other than that, it's just manipulation and small hedge funds and stuff. That doesn't mean you can't. There's always a bull market going on somewhere, and that don't mean you can't catch it. But like overall, I think we're gonna a higher chance of going down before we go up and off to the races. And I think it's good to have that pessimistic mindset in the back of your head sometimes, and that way you're prepared for no matter where things go. If the market keeps going up, hey, I'm in my DeFi saver leverage ETH position. That's been going really well. I'm gonna do great. If it goes down, I just took a fat amount of profits from my Tibber, and I'll have some dry powder. So I don't care. It eliminates the anxiety. I'm still earning good yields. Whatever happens, I'm here for it.
That's it. I think that's the best place to be, because then you're not stressed. You're not always glued to the charts. You're you can just chill and enjoy life, stop and smell the roses, and just you're positioned, you're ready for whatever comes.
Exactly. So yeah, that's where I'm at, man.
All right, bro. Well, listen, let's put a nice ribbon on this. I think it's been another alpha packed episode. It's good to be back, I must say.
Nice.
Any final words as we close this out?
No, we don't have the QR code up there, but just go to our go to our website. You can join our free community. We got our cohort kicking off sometime in September. They got the QR code up there now. And yeah, follow me on YouTube, Crypto Noah. I'm about to start putting out more stuff. I did just recently start back putting out my day in the life of a cryptopreneur vlogs, going back to 2024 of February when I went through my breakup and, started making music, traveling the world. So you kind of just get to see my whole journey. So I'm a 33 life path, turned 33. 33 is the number of influence, spiritual healing, and teaching. So now I'm back to telling my story after not posting a vlog from over 2 years now. So that's some stuff we got cooking.
Man, well, I think you're an interesting cat with a story to tell. So if you've been documenting that journey, and now you're releasing it, I think it's definitely going to be well worth a watch. So at Crypto Noah on YouTube. Guys, hit up that QR code so that you can join the No Hours community to learn more about DeFi yields, and just connect with other people that are in this crypto journey together. I think the first cycle I did in crypto, I did it solo. The second cycle was when I really found the value in community, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But guys, that is another episode. That's episode 38.
38?
Yeah, I mean, 38, keeping it straight. That's damn straight. All right, guys. Well, until next time, have a wonderful day. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay based.
Peace out, y'all.
everyone.
I'm a baseline junkie. I'm a baseline junkie. Tell him again. I'm a baseline junkie. Tell him again. And I like it funky.